Welcome to the BCN3D Cloud. In this video, you will learn all about the Teams account and how to make the most of all its functionalities. When you log on to your Teams account, you will see the name of your team in the top left corner. Next to it, you can see the currently selected group and your role in this group. You can drop down the list of groups to switch between them. If you have any questions about setting up the Teams account, you can get in contact with our support team or ask the chatbot found on the bottom right corner. Click on the gear to access the Teams management view that will allow you to manage all the resources on your Teams account. On the dashboard, you will find information about your account, like the current number of printers, users, and storage usage. You can also see how many cloud elements have been created in this account, like the number of groups, folders, designs, and print files. In your Teams, you can also see the total print time and the filament separated in groups. At the bottom of the left column, you can access the settings that allow you to change the company's icon, its name, and the default group and role for new users. On the Users tab, you can manage all the users that have been invited to this Teams account. To invite users to this team, click on the Invitations button to switch view and then on the Create Invitation button. Then, type the email of the user you want to invite and they will receive an invitation email that they will have to accept to join. You can also upload a CSV file to invite multiple users at once. Pending invitations can be revoked by selecting them and clicking on the Delete button. Back on the Users view, you will find a list of all the users, their email addresses, the date they joined, and how many groups have this user been added to. You can select one or more users in case you need to delete them. Clicking on a user will give you a more detailed view, which includes the resources assigned to them, some analytics regarding the print jobs, and a list of the groups and roles the user has been assigned to. You can add more groups and roles by clicking on the Add Group button and selecting one or more groups and which role will be assigned to each user. You can select one or more groups to remove users from them. On the Group tabs, you can manage the groups on your Teams account. This tab allows you to group users and resources that at the same time can be organized in a hierarchy. The resources that can be assigned to each group are folders and printers. To create a group, click on the Create Group button. On the pop-up menu, you can name this group, add a description, and choose which group or groups it belongs to. You can switch to the tree view to see the hierarchy between groups. Groups have access to all the resources in their subgroups. On the Roles tab, you can manage the roles for your Teams account. Roles are assigned to a user in a specific group. The same user can have different roles in different groups. The role indicates the permissions that each user has to access, manage, or see the resources associated with the group. To create a role, click on the Create Role button, name it, and check the permissions necessary for this role. The permissions are categorized into LAN permissions about the Teams account and its management, Groups permissions that allow user and resource management, 3D printer permissions that allow you to see printers and manage their queues, Folder permissions that also include file permissions, Workflow permissions that specialize the users assigned to a workflow, and Cluster permissions that allow you to group the printers. You can click on All to add permissions for an entire category or check individual ones. When you are done adding permissions, click on Save and this role will be ready to be assigned to users. On the 3D Printers tab, you can manage your Teams printers. You can add more printers by registering them onto your Teams account. To register a printer, simply log on to your cloud account and then type the URL provided by the printer on the Register Printer menu found on the printer's LCD. You can log in on your phone to speed up the process by using the QR code instead. After the printer has been added to the Teams account, you can assign it to a group. Users in your team will only be able to use printers that have been assigned to their group. On the Folders tab, you can manage the public folders for your Teams account. To create a folder, click on the Create Folder button, name it, and assign ownership to a group. After a folder has been assigned ownership, it can be shared with more groups. Users in your team will only have access to the folders that have been assigned to their group. On the Workflows tab, you can create and manage the workflows in your Teams account. A workflow is a way to organize the tasks required to go from a 3D model to the finished printed part. To create a workflow, click on the Create Workflow button. Name it and assign it to a group. Users in your team will only be able to work with the workflows that have been assigned to their group. Click on the workflow to see a detailed view. Workflows are divided into 5 steps. The first step, Slice Pending, is where you can find the STL files that are ready to be sliced. You can add notes with information for the slice configuration. After a file has been sliced, the G-code is sent to the Ready to Print tab. In this tab is where you can validate the G-code. After a G-code has been validated, it can be sent to the print queue for this workflow. When a slot is available in one of the printers, it can be sent to the printer to start the printing process. After it's finished printing, users can leave a review and mark if it's been a successful or failed print. You can personalize the role permissions in the group to assign different people for each of the steps in the workflow. On the Analytics tab, you can see the full analytics for your Teams account. In the Print History, you will find a list of all the print jobs made in this Teams account. You can download a CSV file with all the results. These results can be filtered by printer, group, or user and can be sorted accordingly. On the Print Activity drop-down menu, you can find analytics for your group and its subgroups. Back on the Analytics tab, you can directly access analytics for all groups, analytics for a specific printer, analytics for a specific user, and lastly, analytics for a specific workflow. All the graphs can be filtered in time by clicking on the calendar icon and selecting the date range. Information shown will be automatically updated, but it can be instantly refreshed by clicking on the Refresh button.